Okay, so now we're on properties of real numbers. Okay, hopefully you remember these. Commutative is really an order property. So if we're talking about addition, it's A plus B is the same as B plus A. Okay, multiplication would be AB, or A times B, AB, equals BA, or B times A. Alright, associative really deals with parentheses and the order that you add or multiply. Okay, so A plus B, then plus C, is the same thing as A plus, then B plus C. Okay. Let me see if I can move that. Okay. And then same idea for associative with multiplication. So if I take A times B, then times C, it's equivalent to A times B times C. Okay. Now in Algebra 1, we would all pick a letter and assign a number, plug it all in, see if it works. Okay, but we're moving on from there. You should be able to plug in and see that it works. Okay. So identity, you're going to do an operation and get yourself out. For addition, that would be adding 0. Okay. So A plus 0 equals A. And think about what you can do with multiplication to get yourself. That would be timesing by 1. So A times 1 will still give me A. Okay, that's identity. You get yourself out after doing an operation. Okay? And now inverse, think about what you would do with an inverse in math. You try to be crossing something out, okay, if you're simplifying. Or something will cancel the other one out. So for addition, if I start with A and then subtract A, I'm going to get 0. Those would cross out if you were doing an equation. Okay, multiplication, that would be really multiplying by the reciprocal. Okay, so if I was simplifying that, those A's would cross out and we would get 1. And I'm just overemphasizing the crossing out because that tells me I am doing the inverse property. Alright, then distributive property, we should definitely know this one, but A times B plus C equals AB plus AC. Okay? Now the rest of this page should be pretty quick. Okay, we're going to name that property. Alright, so 13, if you look at it, we have 5 times 2 times 8 equals 5 times 2, then times 8. So just for the first few, I'm going to highlight what is changing, okay? So in the parentheses, we started with 2 and 8 on the left side, then on the right side of the equal sign, the parentheses are now around 5 and 2. Okay, so what's changing there is what the parentheses are grouping. That's an associative property, and we're multiplying here, so a multiplication. Okay? So if you look at 14, we are distributing 6 times 3 minus 6 times 7. Okay? 15, think about how you would get 0. 7y plus negative 7y, those cancel. That's an inverse. And we are adding there. Inverse property of addition. Okay, 16, so what changed here was we had 3a plus 2b, and then we got 2b, and then 3a. That's an order changing. So that's commutative of addition. Okay? So, number 17, try to see what changed there. So what changed there is the parentheses, and what was in the parentheses, that again is associative. And this time, of addition. Okay, so 18, sorry about the noises. What's happening there are the 5s, you could cancel them out if you're simplifying. So that is an inverse of multiplication. Okay, let's give 19, you've seen that before. Okay, 20, 9c plus 0 gives me 9c. So you're doing an operation and getting yourself out. Identity. And we are adding there. Okay, so name the additive and multiplicative inverse for each number. Let's just do 21 and 22 there. Okay, so for the additive inverse, think about that. I would want to end up with 0. Let me highlight that on our notes here. Okay, so if you look at inverse and under addition, we want to end up with 0. So what would I have to do to get that? I would need to add 8. So the additive inverse would be 8. Okay, your multiplicative inverse, if you look at inverse and multiplication, you're multiplying by the reciprocal. Okay, so this multiplicative inverse would be 1 over 8. And think about, I want them to completely cancel out. It needs to be negative 1 over 8. Okay, so if I multiply both of those, I'm going to get 1. Alright, so let's just do number 22 so you have one more idea. I want 2/3 to do something to that and end up with 0. I would have to subtract 2/3. And then the multiplicative inverse, I would want to multiply it by something and end up with 1. So that would be times 3/2. Okay? So just one more time, the additive inverse, you want to get 0 out, and the multiplicative inverse, you want to get 1. Okay? The rest of this page, do not worry about it. You can draw a big X. And actually, if you do that on your page, that will show me very quickly that you watched this video and you recorded your notes. And that's it for your first lesson.